Today I was thinking to myself, man, I wish I had a review video that I could watch before I bought my stove. Most of my videos are about car stereos, so it's a little off topic for my normal viewers. But if you're into car stereos, you like to save money. And if you remember, like last year or the year before, if you have like propane heat, gas got up to like $4.50, $5 a gallon. That is when I said I'm done and I'm getting an outdoor wood burner. Before I ramble about anything, I'm going to go straight to my review and ramble about that because I'm a rambler. I have... Dang, this thing looks like it's really close. Is it really close? No. Sorry, just making sure my camera's not way forward. This is a Fire Chief 1800D. I have a 8-foot chimney, triple wall on it. A lot of people, they'll put like the cheap pipe on it, like the thin single wall stuff, but I believe this one called for this chimney, and either way I wanted to do it because this stove right here is over $3,100. Which is another reason why I wish I could have seen a review on it before I bought it. Not saying the stove is bad. I'm just saying, when you spend thousands of dollars on something, you really want to do your research. Because from what I hear, there is outside wood burners and boilers that aren't worth the shit. If you don't know the difference, you think they're the same, like some people, boiler and outside wood burner. They are different. This is a forced air unit. Back here, whoa, don't slip in the mud. Back here, there's a big blower in here. And I know it looks pretty ghetto, but man, I try to do what is the most efficient, and I try to do a little work. I actually got this the middle of last winter. And this summer, I kind of tried to cover my pipes to, this is like thick insulation, kind of like box I put over my pipes, because the warmer your pipes are, your return and your blower, the warmer your air is going to be going in your house. This said, I believe it said it come pre-assembled. It does now anyway. It says it does. It does not. This was not on it. The fan was not in it. I had to put all that together, but honestly, if you have any sense about you at all, it's not really that hard if you just think about it. It has a thermostat here. This senses, this is like a big wood stove, and there's a chamber around it. This is all a chamber. Once it hits 100 degrees, this little thermostat kicks on and tells my blower in here to blow air into my house. This is actually the blower that blows in. That's a 10-inch, and that is a 12-inch down there, return air that pulls air from my house, so it all circulates. Same as your furnace does. Some people might not know. I didn't know before. Because I never cared about heating and cooling. It's just one of them things, you flick a switch, your house is warm, who cares? But I do recommend, when I ordered this, I ordered it through Rural King, and it came 3 months late. So I had to install this in the middle of winter. It was, I believe, 10 degrees then. Sorry, got a text message. Screwed up my video. Anyway, I had a good buddy that come and help me install it. You do need to seal around here. Do not get this from Rural King. Come 3 months late, as I said. I was not happy at all. And then the company that they went through to get this, there was actually at least three middlemen to get this to my house. It was the biggest pain in the ass I've ever dealt with, and I had over $3,000 that I'd paid. So my money was just in limbo. It was gone. I already ran out of propane. I told them to get the propane out of here. I wasn't paying for it anymore because at the time it was $5.50 a gallon. So if you do get this, I suggest not getting it from Rural King. Get it from, I would have drove to got it. I would have just drove to got the damn thing if I'd known it was going to take that long. This stove actually comes with like this fire cock that goes around the your chimney. You see the pink in there? pink stuff, it lasts about 2 rainstorms and then it all just breaks and falls away. This is a different kind of indoor-outdoor caulking that I put around here, and it works way better. I can't think what it is at the moment, but as you see in my stove there, I got a bunch of little pink chips from that other bullshit they sent. My opinion, this is not strong enough to hold a chimney. It says to actually have the chimney 6 feet above the peak of your house. Well, in my opinion, the peak is way up there. So that would mean I would need about a 30-foot chimney. Yeah, right. I consider this right here, I'm going to call this the peak, is what I called it. And I went, tried to go like at least even with it, but it seems to draft really well. It's also away from my house. Most people put it like parallel with their house and shoot straight in. I knew I was not going to do that. My house is only like 1,000 square feet, not counting my upstairs attic, which nobody goes in. There's nothing up there. But I actually bought a bigger one because I knew I was going to break the rules. I made the piping a little longer than what it should have been, what it called for, and I almost got a 90 in it going into my house, and that it says not to do. It's more like a steep 45, but I tried to compensate and paid more money for the bigger one. But anyway, I don't think this holds the piping as well. It kind of caves in, and I believe I get a little water inside of it. You want to see the inside? Sorry. It's fire chief. There's a little blower. This is actually hooked up to a thermostat in my house. When it gets under 70 degrees, this little blower kicks on. I don't know if it really does anything. I mean, I guess it does, but you know, whatever. This is pretty much your only heat control. This is the damper. I usually keep it closed when it's going good because it'll get hot as crap in my house. But it has a really long ash pan, which I like a lot. And then it also, like if you can't get your stove going, like it's really cold but you have a few coals, open up that damper a little bit and you pull this out, and it just, if you have a good draft, it does like a super draft and get your stove going really well. This actually takes a 28-inch log. I try to put like 25s in it, but the only problem is, you see how big the door is. You know, here's my hand. So if you have a big log and it's long, it's really awkward to get it in there without slamming the back of the stove really hard, which I do not like to do. So you see I need to add wood to it now, but I didn't because I wanted to make this video. It actually comes with, there's blocks around the side, which was all knocked down when I got this. I paid an extra $75 for a lift gate service. They sent one guy. I was not home. My like 60-some-year-old father-in-law come and try to help you move it, and they dumped my fucking brand new $3,000 stove on the side. So those kind of had some cracks and stuff, thanks to Rural King and whoever the hell else shipped this shit. So everything was cool. I was lucky. Nothing got bothered on it. But you know, that's a lot of money, you know, for bullshit like that to happen. That's just a stick. It is very efficient, I would say. When it's cold out, it does take a lot more wood, but when it's warm out, it burns the wood slow. If I had to buy the stove again, I would definitely buy it again. I like it a lot. You know, everything has its flaws. A safety feature on this stove is this dump hood. It's cool and it's not cool. How it works is, if your power goes out and you have a blazing hot fire in here, so you're asleep, your electricity goes out, you don't know it, instead of your stove burning down and getting really freaking hot, you know, because it won't, no electricity to turn the fan on, so none of the heat will get blowed out of here. It will just stay in here and burn your stove down. It's what they say, which I believe it probably could happen. Instead of that happening, there's a fuse connected to this that's almost like, you know, it's like a fuse held together with solder. That solder gets so hot it melts, and it opens up this dump door to let the heat out, so your stove does not burn down. It is actually a really big pain in the ass. I had it pop on me last winter. It was probably 15 degrees out. This is actually, I put a longer stud on here and the fuse is a real pain in the ass to get back on. And then you have to shut this door, have this lined up perfectly with this hole, which I have to use a screwdriver to get it to happen. And even after adding this longer stud, I have to actually get on top of here and stand on this to get this low enough to put the nut on. So it is a real pain in the ass, but it's a safety feature, so I can't really complain. But I can, you know what I mean? It's cool, but it's not cool. Also, the fuses, the only place I found them is firechief.com, and they want like $6 or $7 a piece. So you better hope to hell you catch your stove if your power goes out, or it's going to be a pain in the ass and cost you money. So warning on that one. I've seen people actually just put wood on top here so it will never open. I'm afraid to do that. This is way too expensive. Over $3,000 is before piping. You know, I mean, you're looking at, if you know stoves, you know how much triple walls cost. Not cheap. All the piping to go in your house. I will also, sorry, I never did, see, I got to rambling. Forced air, this is forced air. A boiler, my boss actually has a boiler. It actually runs a big, I think it's either inch or 3/4 pipe that runs into it and runs into a like a furnace deal, like a big coil that heats your house. That way it runs through water. So in case you don't know the difference, I'll take you to my ghetto here. If you see here, see this box I built, I should have went up further, but I have a 10-inch and a 12-inch going through the side of my house down to my existing furnace, which has no heat or no propane or anything hooked up to it now, because I actually pulled the pipes. You see here, I hard piped it from the outside, and then I went to flex pipe right inside the wall here. Here is my return. This is my big 12-incher. Oh man, you're not gonna be able to see over here, but here's the 10-incher. And it's actually hooked right in. My 10-incher's back here. This is my existing furnace. That is where the furnace would blow up air and it spreads out to all my other pipes. I have it hooked right into there with like a coupler deal for heating, and my return is hooked over here to where my return lines were. Now I actually have two returns on my house furnace, but I have one off right now because the pipe was all ate up and corroded. It still works good with just one right now, but then it has this one big one that comes out, so it, you know, does like a big circulating deal. Yeah, and it's nice because I have my furnace in my my cellar here under my house, so all my pipes stay all warm. So I like that a lot. But let's see, anything else I could tell you that I would have wanted to know before I spent a whole bunch of money. If you're thinking about getting one of these, if you don't like to cut wood or spend money on wood, do not get one. It does take a decent amount of wood to use this, depending on how efficient, I guess, your piping is, your pipes in your house. You know, there's a lot of variables. I estimate I use around maybe a rick a week, which, yeah, I mean a truckload a week, depending on how cold it is. You know, the colder it is, the more wood that it burns through. If it's and cold, I'm talking 10 degrees, you know, 10 degrees and under. 30 degrees, this thing burns really efficient. And I'm talking hardwood. You throw crappy poplar, you know, softwood in there like that, you're going to be filling it up 4 or 5 times a day. So be prepared to wake up and it be a little chilly in your house. Come home from work after 8 hours, might be a little chilly in your house. I'm talking, you know, 63 degrees. I'm not talking 40. But be prepared for that. Be prepared to spend money on piping. But I will tell you, I don't think gas is going to stay $1.50 for, it's $1.50 here right now for gas, for like gas in your car. Probably not going to stay like that forever. So, you know, right now might not be worth it for you. I mean, keep buying propane or whatever, your gas, and, you know, save you a lot of headache. But, you know, gets back up to $5 a gallon, you start thinking, oh man, spending a lot of money. But make sure you like to cut wood. I do like cutting wood. I like running a saw. I have access to some wood. I have woods. I have family with woods. Or, you know, you could just buy wood. You know, there's a lot of people that sell it. But yeah, trying to think of anything else here that I might be able to tell you. Here's some things over here. 1214 when it was manufactured, things like that. It comes with a manual. Missouri, St. Louis. Yeah, I would have drove there and got the damn thing if I would have known it was going to take 3 months to get it. I actually, like I said, me and my buddy piped it in. I put it together. I didn't feel like paying another $1,000 for somebody to come and pipe the damn thing in. I mean, and I'm not a heat guy. It didn't take a genius. You need guy wire. It's called guy wire to hold your pipe because the wind will blow that shit over. That was a pain. Really big pain. I was on a really tall ladder, staying at the very top of it, balancing myself to get that top piece and the cap on. But a little bit of water does get down in here and the top here. I don't know from where. I've sealed and sealed. It's not a big deal. Just usually when there's heavy rain, I can actually, if I get in here and I'll have a very few coals, you want it to be burning as fast as possible because you don't want to be out here dealing with it. You open this, some rainwater gets down in there from where it leaks from where the hell ever. And that's a bummer, but get her boiling. Throw a piece of hedge in there if you know what hedge is. Some people call it ostrich orange, and that'll get it cooking. That's what I like to throw in here if it's really cold. It's 61 degrees in my house, barely burning. I'll throw a piece of hedge in there, get that puppy really kicking. But that's all I can think of at the moment. I would say it's pretty well built. I do like it. I do not regret it at all, spending the money. And it might take me a long time, or it might not, for me to save the money that I spent on it. But I don't care because I don't have to rely on anybody but a little electricity. And I bought a generator. You do need a generator. If your power goes out, you're not going to get any heat because your blower will not kick on without power. And that just actually plugs in my basement. I run a yellow construction extension cord, which is what it says to do. It plugs right in. Down underneath here, goes up by the blower. It's plugged in my basement to a receptacle. You see over there, I still got my little regulator for my propane that's not hooked up to anything. So if you wondered about that, it's hooked up to nothing. I am solely relying on heat. Also, I would suggest an Eden Pure. We have an Eden Pure, a little space heater. Get an Eden Pure, man. They are awesome. I have a small one that says it heats 1,000 square feet, and it does heat this house. Since this came late and we were out of propane, I was actually using the Eden Pure to heat this house before this came. And now we just use it, if it's a little chilly in the house, the stove went out, I need to get it going. It's not going to be super hot automatically. Turn on the Eden Pure. It's a great backup. And I think that's all. I just I want to do a review. So, instead of spending $3,000 on something you're taking a risk on, now somebody's opinion anyway on what they think of the fire chiefs. You can get them cheaper. You can actually get indoor ones that you can put in your basement. My main reason for getting this, there is no mess inside. There is no smoky smell except for, on your clothes from coming out here. And if this catches fire, it's a decent amount away from my house. So even if I have like a chimney fire, it's far enough away from my house where I feel safe, until I can get it out. So there's ups and downs to it. Costs more money, quite a bit more money, but might help you sleep better at night like it does me. So now I like it.